Welcome to the Franchise Woman Podcast, where passion and purpose collide, profits are made, and relationships forged. I'm Rebecca Monet, CEO and Chief Scientist at Zorkel Profiles. You might have seen that my co-host Tracy Cow is not with us today. She had something come up, so it's going to be the three of us. So I'm thrilled to welcome Allison Welch and Bryn Thompson, the powerhouse duo behind As You Wish, on today's podcast. As You Wish isn't just about handling tasks, it's about redefining what it means to live stress free. From its roots in Denver, this bespoke personal assistant company has set out to transform everyday routines into moments of calm, efficiency, and elegance. Founded by Allison Welch, the company emerged from her deep passion for service and personal connection. What was her vision? To create a sanctuary from the chaos of daily life by offering highly tailored support that integrates seamlessly into a client's lifestyle. Now, in 2024, As You Were stepped into the franchise world by bringing on Bryn Thompson. She came on as a partner and chief operating officer. She's got a dynamic background spanning hospitality, sales, technology, and operations. She has that kind of systematic, strategic mindset that really complements who Allison is. So, ladies, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks. Thank you for having us.
It's going to be fun. Um, okay, I need a backdrop first on both of you before we kind of jump in. Allison, tell us As You Wish, what was your life like?
Sure, sure. So, thanks again for having us. We're excited to be here. I'm originally from upstate New York, Syracuse area. I went to college in South Carolina to defrost and get away from the gray skies, but graduated with a marketing degree from there and then lived in Charlotte, North Carolina for about 7 years, where I worked for Roger Staubach and his commercial real estate company. And I helped handle their tasks, their executive assistant work, and then a lot of their client touch events. So I travel around the country making sure that the clients were retained, they were happy and taken care of. It was a lot of fun, learned a lot. And then from there, I moved closer to home, New York City. I was in my 20s and just thought I wanted to experience it for a year or so. And I ended up staying for about three, but I worked for famed interior designer Charlotte Moss and assisted her with her boutique. She was an author, so we did book tours and then help manage her homes between Aspen, New York City, and East Hampton. So learned about vendor relationships, calendars, planes, trains, and automobiles. Anything to really make their life smooth was my goal. So it was so much fun, a lot of fun, learned a lot. Charlotte's still a mentor of mine today, but when I stepped out of that position about 15 years ago, As You Wish is actually 15 years old this month, so we're excited for that. But yeah, the concept, Rebecca, was really that not everyone needs that personal assistant or event planner in their life full time or can afford it. So
Right,
our
right.
concept is about as needed, a la carte, hourly services just to help folks better their lifestyle. So we're excited to, be here and chat more.
Yeah, we're going to dig into everything you do because it is definitely bespoke.
Yeah.
Um, and, as an entrepreneur myself, as a past single parent, I can think of 1,000 times I needed help
Yeah.
with an event that was being put on or some personal
Right.
things. And I don't know why you weren't there then. I guess I was in California while you were in New York. I don't know what
Sure.
was going on there. So Bryn, catch us up on how life before As You Wish.
Yeah. Life before As You Wish. Grew up in Scottsdale, Arizona. I went to University of Tennessee in Knoxville for school. After Knoxville, I moved to Nashville. That's a traditional thing to do. Where I worked for Marriott International. I was a task force manager, so I was traveling around to multiple different properties for openings if they were acquired, launching the Marriott brand in those markets, making sure that the client, guest, and executive experience was flawless, and that they were meeting their marks. From there, I wanted to be closer to home, not back to Scottsdale where it is just blistering hot. So I moved to Denver. Allison has been a family friend for many years, so moved to Denver, where I was a lifestyle coordinator with As You Wish for about a year. So I know the back being with clients on a daily basis, but also now growing and expanding the franchise business. Um, from there, I went to Salesforce. My background's in technology. I love a system, as Rebecca mentioned, very systematic, building out our SOPs, our intranet, our systems. So that's I was at Salesforce again for client experience, executive experience, just the overall team morale, team, the equity within the team as well. So I reached out to Allison last year, asked her what she was doing. She mentioned that she was franchising and she needed an operations partner. And so franchising has been amazing building out our system. So it's repeatable processes. Thinking about, is our system working for us now? Do we need to migrate to a new system? So that was life before As You Wish. And life is now working with clients from time to time because that's what we love. It's our passion, but also being in the office and focusing on our operations and growing and scaling.
And that's the key, right? Is that growing and scaling, especially as a franchisor. What I really love about the two of you ladies is how you are completely complementary in terms of your focus on hospitality, making sure our clients are well taken care of, organized. There's this shared values, but different skill sets that just, I don't know, complement each other just beautifully. So, Allison, so
Mhm.
As You Wish is about hospitality and efficiency. It's very well blended. It's kind of a beautiful blend. Talk to me a little bit more about elevating everyday life. Because when I saw that, my brain immediately went into you're alleviating, spelt the same,
Yeah.
alleviating. So tell me more about what that means to you personally.
Sure. I've always had a love and a passion for helping, individuals and families and whatnot. That's my background. So, really taking what I learned before and just my personal passion in life to help people is where we are with As You Wish. We have everything from the busy mom or dad's a traveling exec or mom's a traveling exec, and they need a few extra hours in their day to keep the ball rolling with the kiddos and the dogs and the household and whatnot. So, just being able to step in and say, what's important to you? Would you rather be skiing on the weekend or waiting in line in Costco? Or, do if you got an a fender bender or whatnot, like this morning, one of the gals picked up a client's car from our client's office, went to get it, get it fixed for them. Their value was being at the office, not waiting at an auto dealership. So when you kind of put that into perspective to see what's really important to you and your family or your career, it's where we step in and say, let us take some of those things off of your plate. We don't have any minimums. We want this to be easy. People are calling us because they're busy or they're in a situation where they need a little bit of extra help, whether it's, referring out a great vendor or being there because they're moving and we can help them relocate, whether it's within a city that we're in or city to city. We're happy to step in and help with their move management, get them organized, set up once they're there. The holidays are fun for us. It's also a very stressful time for others. So we want to bring some of that joy back into the holiday season, whether it's helping put up the Christmas tree, maybe it's shopping, wrapping the gifts, waiting in line at the post office. These things all come off of your plate so you can have that sort of carefree, stress-free, lifestyle that we attribute to our clients.
Okay, so Bryn, you're the systemizing person, right? This sounds like a lot of different services, which goes back to that bespoke idea. How the heck do we organize this in a way where we can time manage and send out the right people and know the right people that can do certain things? Tell me a bit more about that whole process.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, we all go to bed with a to-do list at the end of the evening. We're waking up thinking of things that we need to accomplish for the week. So, we have a fully built out intranet learning management system. There's a video for how to pack a plate within a box so it doesn't break in the relocation service. It may be how to leverage AI and ChatGPT. Maybe you have a client that says, hey, I went to a restaurant in Switzerland. There was these plates I really liked at the restaurant. How to navigate that conversation to eventually find the supplier of these plates to ship to their home. So a lot of coaching, a lot of leveraging AI for referral sources. So we have a system in place. And as franchisors, of course, different questions come up. Our three markets are in Colorado, and we have one North Carolina. So we're leveraging our North Carolina franchise owner. Yes, you're getting a yacht ready. How can we build out a checklist to get a yacht ready to get out on the ocean or the harbor? So the systems in place that we have a standard operating procedure for each of our services, but also just having an open door discussion to improve those processes. And then we do have a CRM, so scheduling with our clients. The process for us as franchisors, franchisees, initially taking that call with the client, but then really partnering them. We call our team members lifestyle coordinators, partnering them with a dedicated lifestyle coordinator. So they have that personal connection. We're in their homes every day. We have their door codes. We have maybe their birthdays for picking up a prescription. So we have cybersecurity. Our clients are coming to us because they know we're licensed, we're insured, that their information is confidential. So really building that relationship with them as well.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea you guys did all of these things. And there is some regionalness to this, right? Like you said, a yacht in North Carolina versus a family that wants to go skiing that lives in
Right.
Snowmass, Colorado, or whatever.
Right.
Um, so your services sound like they continually expand.
Mhm.
And then somehow you organize it in a way. So the next time we have to do that thing, or another franchisee now has that same kind of assignment, then they can go straight to the learning system and your operating systems and go, how do I pack,
Yeah.
plates from Switzerland?
Yeah,
And that's a real
exactly.
request that Bryn had. So
It truly was. But Allison and myself and our franchisees are continuously having ideation sessions of what are services that your clients are asking for? How can we forward think of services that may come about to create an SOP for those services?
This is
yeah, and I
brilliant.
would touch on that and say, having the core baseline services, meaning just the everyday errand running, going into vehicle services, relocation, organizing and holiday, and also event planning, kind of stemming from those. And, maybe it's partnering with a hotel. We're a concierge, a personal concierge, but the hotels have concierges as well, where they may not be able to leave their desk or their post. So we are, a contact for them. They're a great vendor partner for us. We just had a gentleman call yesterday for one of our locations, and he was in a panic. He forgot his swimsuit. The kids were already swimming, so he could not go anywhere, and Amazon was too late. So one of our lifestyle coordinators picked up the swimsuit in his size and dropped it off so he could enjoy his family. So thinking of all of these ways to partner, we're partnering quite a bit now with senior living facilities. A lot of the baby boomers are retiring and they want to downsize from the large homes they've had their whole lives. So really taking the step in how to getting them settled, how to declutter, how to purge, to go in a different living situation, but making them feel great about it too. Maybe it's picking them up and taking them to get their nails done, or like Bryn said, getting their prescriptions and, so they can, enjoy themselves in their new home as well. So really think taking those core services and expanding on them with where we can be most helpful has been really fun for us. And also seeing some of the new cities. We're about to open Tucson, Arizona, and there's different, some services are different and we love it, it's just helping us grow further. But yeah, you get back to the main part of the business and it's still the same and the same values and, mission, of course.
Yes, of course. Okay, but why franchising? And how did you decide to go about that? I mean, clearly there's been a lot of need for your services. What was your thought process in let's franchise?
Yeah, and I think, this was right before Brandon came on board, but we were still in discussions before she, joined our corporate team. But our team in Denver, our home corporate office was I looked around the office one day and none of the life store coordinators were here. They were all in different cities. So I was like, what's going on? So one was in Palm Springs, Palm Desert, opening up a client's home for the winter. So we were, updating new sheets and towels, getting the groceries delivered, getting their bar set up, getting the pool open, all of the home management that we needed to get all our vendors in before they got there, had their car shipped out. So we received their vehicle, got it washed and gassed. So, being in that market, then we would have a pro athlete who was, just got traded. So he was leaving Denver and we would pack up the house and, arrange for the trucks to be there. We would meet the move trucks, meet the vehicles and get the vehicles. We would go the DMV. We can be the power of attorney. Let's take that right off your list. Nobody wants to go the DMV. So, having our services, which are all encompassing, to do all of the things is what, we kind of saw that there was a need for around the country. So started the process in FDD and now, quickly growing. But yeah, it's fun.
Excellent. Excellent. Uh, Bryn, I'm going to come back to you because a lot of what you were describing really supports the franchisees to be experts in a whole lot of different things very quickly. But this is also a high relationship business. How do we teach that? Or do we just screen for it? Or is that also, in your mind, to a large degree, automated? How do we keep that personal, relational connection at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. So our onboarding is a 6-week onboarding plan. We have a list of 50 plus referral sources that we want to partner with for their clients' needs. So thinking of luxury home builders, they are building these clients beautiful $5 million homes. They're getting the question, what is the move-in process? And they can say, we partner with As You Wish Lifestyle. So during this 6-week onboarding plan, we're working with the franchisee to research who are the luxury realtors in your market, who are the luxury home builders, who are the private equity firms. So researching those contacts, but setting up one-on-one coffee connects with them. So sending a personal email, I'd love to take you out to coffee. Having that face-to-face connection with them. After they've referred us to their client, maybe their client is their realtor, where we're moving their client. After we move their client in, taking them out to lunch or a drink, or maybe sending them a nice coffee table book to thank them. So continuing that personal relationship with them. Maybe they say, my kids are going off to camp. And we say, we would be happy, since you referred us to that client, be happy to pack your children for that camp or help with getting them set up with camp registration. So it's continuing that personal relationship with our clients. Mother's Day, Allison and I were running around town here in Denver, dropping off flowers to our clients' homes to just say thank you for using our services. We appreciate you. So those little touch points with our clients and our referral sources. So we're teaching that to our franchisees. During the onboarding, we have a whole marketing calendar throughout the year that touches on when to reach out to the referral sources, things that we're identifying in the Denver market that we're going to be doing. Maybe Father's Day next year, we're dropping off aprons and barbecue supplies as a thank you. So we're building that out for our franchisees to follow from a corporate lens.
Wow. You're making me think, like, okay, what can I do for my clients? Um, this is just brilliant. Let's shift gears a little bit. And Allison, share with me what you consider your leadership style, because you're dealing with several people doing different things. So how would you describe it? How's it working? What have you learned over 15 plus years of doing this?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a pretty fair leader. I'm not gonna, kind of hover down anyone's back. I really want our lifestyle coordinators in our own Denver office to shine. And we get a lot of resumes, a few times a month, honestly, because we do have that flexible schedule. So we get like the stay-at-home moms, or maybe someone out of college, or someone who loves and has a passion for organizing. So we get all of those, and it's great for us to work with them, but also, when they come in for their 30 days, the lifestyle coordinators, we make sure it's a right fit. Bryn goes through the training and the onboarding with them first off, and then, we work together. I love to do days where they shadow us. They can see the day in the life of a personal assistant, whether it's, some management level items that have to be done in our office, or if it's out and about. Like Bryn said, we still love to see our clients. I have clients that are almost 15 years that have been with us. So when I get to see them, it's great fun, but also having someone shadow and be with us to see, it's very important that we have etiquette. We maintain a best practice. When we go into a client's home and there's four of us, we all go in together. We all bring our own snacks and waters. I mean, you're in someone's home, so you want to be respectful of that. So those things are very important to us. And the bottom line too is just having that level of confidentiality. So making sure we have great lifestyle coordinators is, what sets us apart.
It really does make your business, doesn't it? Um, and I like this whole idea of, side by side, you're training them so they can
Yeah.
get a day
Yeah.
in the life of,
Right.
a lifestyle coordinator, and how you have deliberately and consciously made sure these lifestyle coordinators are in alignment with your values, what Brennan,
Exactly.
you both have talked about, and that they share that they are on board with just that.
Mhm.
Bryn, anything to contribute regarding that, regarding the team that you would like to share?
Yeah, I would just say, as far as training, our door is always open. But let's call me if you have a question about who should I go to have a watch repaired, or you just picked up their lovely Gucci purse but it needs the handle repaired. Like, where should I go? Always, our team knows they can always reach out, sounding board if something they not understanding. But also, if I'm not available, I'm process mindset. Created a process that's at your fingertips as well. So if I'm not available, you can hop on your phone to the intranet to the learning management system. Hopefully, your question can be answered. If not, we're thinking about an internal chatbot. If the question is frequently answered or asked, that chatbot might have a direct response from Allison or myself so that our team always knows that they're supported, both from us and our systems. So that's what I would say. And
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So shifting the gears a little bit here, as it relates to lifestyle coordinators versus the franchisee, because then ultimately they're the leader of that territory and they're going to hire um, lifestyle coordinators. So
Of
that
course.
franchisee,
Mhm.
tell me a little bit more about them. Do they have to have past experience, whether it's in business or in the same space? What kind of franchisee are you looking for? What attributes do they need to possess?
Yeah, I think, first and foremost, someone who would have a passion in being an entrepreneur. They would own this business for 5 years. So that's really important right up front that they're ready to be involved and invested with us and our team and to learn and grow. Definitely someone outgoing. We want someone who can be out and about. Like Bryn mentioned, we do a lot of networking, we do a lot of outreach. We're heavily involved in our community, whether it be a chamber or maybe a bespoke group that can all send out referrals to each other and whatnot that have the same clientele. So it's really important to us that they want to be out and about. I mean, the owner doesn't necessarily have to work the business. They can just hire LCs, hire an operations manager to run the actual day-to-day errands and tasks and things like that. That's absolutely fine. We just want to make sure that they keep up with communication and weekly meetings and what we're offering to keep the value moving forward and educating them to be the best lifestyle coordinators for their clients.
This is an intimate relationship
Yeah.
that you're having with your clients. So to see the franchisees building those intimate relationships through being an ambassador for the brand, even if somebody else is managing the lifestyle coordinators, the relationship sounds like it really is with that franchisee as the ambassador and that personal intimate relationship that we have with our clients. Okay, you two work so beautifully together. You really do. Um, Bryn, if you were to describe Allison in
Mhm.
3, 4 adjectives or any way you want to describe her, how would you describe Allison?
Yeah, I would say Allison is personable. She can spark up a conversation with anyone and truly cares about the conversation and remembering those details. She may have met someone 10 years ago, could see them at a networking event and be like, how was that vacation where you were going to shop for XYZ or you were going to meet some family that you met on ancestry.com or something like some anecdote? She remembers those details. She cares about those details. Highly organized. Allison is the quickest to respond to an email of anyone that I've ever met in my life. Text, email, she's always available. Very dedicated both to the business and to her family and her daughter, Olivia. She is a connector, and this business means the world to her, and showing that both in her personal life and in her professional life.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, there you go. That was so
Very
sweet. It's
kind.
interesting that you separated personable versus very relational oriented, right? So there is this outgoing, I know you, I know what's going on in your life, but then there's also this dedication that is much more about the relationship. So capable of doing both and wearing both hats because of your great organizational skills, because you are dedicated. So I think that was a beautiful way to describe Allison. How about I flip the question, Allison? If you were to describe Bryn in just a few words, how would you describe Bryn?
Yeah, I would say, highly driven and a really big picture thinker. So as we move forward in our goal setting and our plans and bringing on franchisees and keeping our current ones satisfied and happy, Bryn's awesome at seeing like the next step ahead, which is always great. I would say, of course, very systematic, which you need in any system, especially a franchise system. Just to keep up on current technology and where we're going and any questions that anyone on the team has. It's always such a great asset, and Bryn is always like happily ready to get back to them. So that's awesome. And I would say lastly, just super, you know, personal with our and just so kind to our clients, colleagues, vendors in the office,
Kindness,
but
yeah.
also similarly with her family and her fiance. They're getting married this summer, and her nephews. She cannot say enough about them. So we just love
A little
talking about the kid.
obsessed.
Yeah, just love talking about the little kiddos, little toddlers that we have in our lives right now.
Thank
Oh,
you, Allison.
Yeah.
I can see the kindness, right? So it's interesting oftentimes when someone is a great problem solver like you are, Bren, and good at systematizing, taking a problem, figuring out a solution, systematizing it, that sometimes we do lose that human element. You have not at all. I mean, relationship is really who you are about. So. You two have much in common in those ways.
Yeah.
Shifting to the future, let's look at the future. What's next for you with As You Wish in the next, let's say, 18 to 24 months? What's next?
Yeah, wow. Well, we're onboarding a few new cities, so that's really exciting. We'll be announcing those on our social media channels. So really, once we onboard them, they'll do their training, some training remote, virtually, and some training in Denver with us, which is really fun and hands-on. But then just watching the cities grow, we're just finding it so much fun to see every month incrementally them growing and building their teams. So I think that's for us is just to really concentrate on the new franchisees coming in, but also making sure that, our home office, our little baby here is still, busy and our teammates are still having fun as well.
For sure. Bryn, you were described a little bit earlier as forward thinking. And so when you look at the future, maybe even further out, what do you think is going to happen in this industry and the personal assistant industry? Um, and obviously how As You Wish is going to be a forerunner in that space.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as we think of personal assisting growing, yes, we're not in every market. I know from personal experience working in the corporate world, and these wellness programs that are provided, I traveled 75% of the time. My dog needed her eye drops. I was in London. I called the vet. They said we can't fill it. So Allison went and picked up my dog. A team member picked up my dog, took her to the vet, brought her back to the kennel. I think that for thinking as we expand and grow, just the brand awareness is going to be super
Yeah.
important. A lot of other personal assisting brands are they have a minimum requirement. We set ourselves apart by having that hourly rate. So I think as we expand, as we grow our brand awareness, know that we can handle one task or we can handle weekly tasks. I think forward thinking is going to definitely be how we grow and expand our teams to be able to support these large corporate initiatives that are focused on wellness and the work-life balance that we can provide to the employees. So I think that's going to be at the forefront of our minds as we expand into new markets as well. So
That makes total sense because companies are getting better about that work-life balance and health and wellness from all aspects, financial, emotional, relational, physical, mental, all of those things. And that is going to include removing some of the stressors that doesn't allow that. I hadn't thought of it in that way, Bren. That's a really, really interesting point. So off the wall question here, lady. Um, Actually, I have two, but we'll start with this one. What's the one daily habit that keeps you grounded? That basically allows you to stay consistent with an elevated every day.
I think mine personally is keeping my calendar updated. It changes throughout the day with new client requests or our coordinator needs something or a city has a question or whatever the case may be, or I have to pick my daughter up from ballet camp, whatever the case may be, combining my personal and my professional calendars so I can keep the ball rolling all day and then reviewing it first thing in the morning or the night before and then confirming all my meetings the next day. Just to, everyone's, life changes, so making sure my day, one day at a time is where I'm going.
And to use that calendar,
Yeah.
you know exactly what's coming up, so you're not stressing out. What did I forget?
Yes,
What am I
yes,
supposed to be doing
yes.
now? How about for you, Bren?
Yeah.
What keeps you grounded?
Yeah. So my calendar, yes, but I also leverage Planner and I put all the notes in it. So I look at my planner and it's red. I'm like, what's going on? Usually it's the day of that the reason that it's red. But what keeps me grounded is I get to come home to a wonderful fiance, wonderful family. And so that keeps me grounded as I think of all the tasks that I need to complete for my clients and for the business on a daily basis. If I get all those tasks done, then I get to close that book, that chapter for the day and get to spend the time with my family. So that's what keeps me motivated throughout the day is just to like check off those boxes.
So as you're talking, the behavioral scientist in me is coming out. The idea of closing that calendar at the end or that
That's so good.
planner or what, the dopamine rush
Yeah.
that must have. Would that make you happy, right? Or you're not going to the end of the day and going, what did I accomplish? It's done, and you're now ready for the next day. That
Yeah.
reduces the stress. It raises those dopamine levels, which is a happy, wonderful hormone that we all need, a neurotransmitter.
And add in running to that as well. That increases my dopamine. I love a run at the end of the day. I know a lot of people are morning workout. I love an evening workout.
Yeah, I'm more of a night person too, that way. Final question. Um, when you are considering yourself, what is that one thing that if somebody could remove this thing from your life, it would make your life more fabulous, more efficient, less stressful? What's that one thing? If you could remove it forever, what would it be?
That's a tr
Boy, that's an interesting question. Is
When,
stress an option? Hmm.
I would say living far apart from my family. If I could just like run into my mom at the grocery store, or just like see my nephews on a daily basis. If we could all just merge
Be a
together.
little
My
closer.
sister will never move from LA, so, and I'm not moving to
oh,
LA. So I think removing that, that would just be
so
amazing.
you want a family compound is
I
what
do. I do. Yeah. The cul-de-sac. We can all have our different roles. Maybe someone goes, has a garden in their backyard. The other person has a pool or can just go around. Yeah, that would be lovely.
Doesn't that sound
That's a great
fun? When
idea.
you think
I
like we
love
get our
that.
own places, but
Yeah.
hey, come on over for lasagna, or
Yes,
you going to the grocery store, pick this thing up for me, or
exactly. Would love that.
okay, so your goal is to have a family compound. So
Yes. There we go.
how about you, Allison? What's the one thing that would make your life so much better if you didn't have to do this thing?
Gosh, how about constant vacations?
Yeah. That would be
No, I
nice.
feel like as a, an entrepreneur, our business is set up where our owners and lifestyle coordinators can, take off and spend time with their family and go on vacation. But it's just so important to really clear your brain and step away for a little bit, whether it be a day or a full week, or if you're granted more and more, just to reset, to re-clear, new ideas seem to come up and new ways of even thinking or marketing. I love that. When I get time to do that, it's so rewarding because you come back so refreshed and so new and so ready to go again. So I guess just, respecting your time off would be mine.
Yeah, and planning it, right? That okay,
Exactly. And
once
actually
a
doing it.
quarter, I take 4 days and I do the R&R.
That's amazing. And just, yeah,
Yeah,
just actually having it set up to you actually fulfill it and do it is the hard part,
yeah,
Just
so true. And maybe we need to train our franchisees so they don't get burnout, all right?
exactly, exactly. It's very
Because those
important to
ideas do come when
Mm.
the stress is relieved,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Okay, so how do people learn more about As You Wish or talk to you? How do they go about that?
Sure. I think the first step would be, for the franchise world, it's asyouwishfranchise.com to hear more about our opportunity. Bryn and I are always happy to get on a one-on-one Zoom. We host a webinar on our opportunity every other week, which is a lot of fun, and different cities are on there, so they all ask different questions. We learn and grow from it as well. I think for clients that need some services or time in their life, it's asyouwishlifestyle.com. And I would say, any vendors, national vendors, we're doing a lot of partnerships now that will carry out into our cities. So if there's anyone in that world, we'd love to meet you on the home services level. We have in our back pocket our handyman and our rental companies and, all the folks that we need every day, but it's always great. Like Bryn said, we love meeting new people. We are relationship builders for our clients.
Beautiful. Bryn, anything you want to add before we close out this very fun conversation? For me, anyway, it was fun.
Yeah.
Um, our website, signing up for our newsletter. We have our blog on our website, our social media platforms. Before and after pictures are so much fun. Our business is very visual, so learning more of the breadth and depth of our services through our socials and our newsletters.
I was just thinking about that earlier. Because it's so diverse and different things happening, the marketing and the social media must be absolutely nuts, right?
Continuous.
One day you're wearing this hat, the next day you're wearing another hat. Next minute I'm flying off to do this, and then I'm going to get a pair of swim trunks for somebody, and
Yeah.
gotta
Just
get
to be
going.
flexible because we know every day is different.
Love
Is
that.
definitely that. Which, by the way, is also an attribute of a ideal franchisee, someone that likes that diversity
Great point.
and change and, steps up to the plate because of it.
Mhm.
Ladies, I have so enjoyed this conversation and really enjoyed the synergy between the two of you and the love and the respect that you have for each other. I'm expecting unbelievable things out of you and the growth of your franchise. So I'll be watching you. I'll be watching you close. So thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate you having us on. Excited to see more podcasts. It's definitely a favorite of mine now. So
There you go. Subscribe, right?
exactly.
Subscribe.
Awesome. Thanks again for having us.
You got it, Allison. And to those of you listening in today to the Franchise Woman podcast, we'll see you next week on another episode where we'll talk about how purpose and passion collide, profits are made, and relationships forged.
Yeah. Bye.